Hello and welcome. You're listening to Skipping Through Theatre. This is a podcast where we celebrate the magic of performance, from the unforgettable musicals and the powerful plays to the TV shows we can't stop talking about, and the behind-the-scenes stories that bring it all to life. It's about the laughter, the drama, and the moments that stay with us long after the curtain falls. So settle in and let's dive into today's episode. Hello everyone and welcome back to Skipping Through Theatre, the podcast where we chat to the people who make theatre what it is. I'm Nathan.
And I'm Maddie. Today we are so excited because our guest has appeared in the Rocky Horror Show, The Lion King, Moulin Rouge, and many more productions across the West End and on major UK tours.
Please give a massive Skipping Through Theatre welcome to Melissa Nettleford.
Oh, thank you so much, Maddie and Nathan. It's so lovely to be speaking with you today. How are you?
We're good, thank you.
Yes, we're good.
We're so happy you're here. How are you doing today?
I'm doing very well, thank you, despite the weather being quite gloomy
Yes.
at the moment.
We always love starting at the beginning. So how did theatre first become part of your life?
Well, theatre is one of those things. It's when I was very, very little, I basically was quite hyper, and how I started with just purely with dance to start off with. My mum just put me in a local community centre just so she could have a break and run around and do errands. But music has always been part of my family, especially on my mum's side. A couple of my uncles were in a band back in the Caribbean for soca music and things like that. So music has always been a huge element for me. But I feel like theatre became part of my life the more I kind of learnt music through my family, and also just seeing a lot of shows through school trips and things like that. And it just left me very inspired, and I thought that's what I want to do.
It's lovely how you were surrounded by as an atmosphere when you were younger.
Oh yeah, it was great because my mum's family was very much, that's what they did with my granddad. They would sit out on their veranda, and my mum was one of 6 kids, and my granddad would insist that they all learn how to sing in harmony and everything like that. It's amazing.
Yeah, and it's good that you grew up with a family that had the same interests and wanted you to get into singing and all that.
Oh yeah, I'm very lucky. My parents especially were always, for me and my siblings, just kind of given us that mode of whatever you want to do, you will be able to do it, because they didn't always have the same choices or accessible things to them from the countries that they were from. So they always encouraged us to kind of, grow into what we want to be when we get older, and, encourage it rather than having disbelief. It was always just like, if that's what you want to do, we believe it 100% and we're behind you.
Yeah, absolutely. Was performing always the goal, or did it start as something you just enjoyed doing?
So yeah, it started primarily as a hobby, and I remember my mum saying to me at one point, "You sure you want to keep doing this?" And I was like, "Yeah, mum, I think this is something that I really want to do." So it was a hobby that grew into a real passion.
Do you remember a moment where you thought, yeah, this is what I want to do for a living?
I think it would have been, I'm pretty sure it was a school trip to see The Lion King. When I saw that show, especially the opening of the show, I think anyone who's seen it will agree, Circle of Life, I just couldn't believe what my eyes were seeing, how those animals came to life. And it was just overwhelmingly beautiful. And I thought, that's what I want to do. I want to be part of something so special like that, create these stories, make people feel the way that I felt seeing all of that happening.
It really is an amazing song, Circle of Life.
Yes.
What kind of training did you do to prepare for your professional career?
So I went to Bird College in Sidcup in Kent. Before that was just a lot of primarily dance training and things like that, and then always sang a bit through my family. But when I really went into full training, that was at Bird College in Kent.
So you've worked in both West End productions and across the UK on tour. Do you remember your first professional job?
I do. My first professional job was Joseph and his amazing Technicolor Dreamcoat UK tour, which was huge. I think, if I remember rightly, I got the job quite quickly, as in like the turnaround was really quick. Like I got the job and I was starting in less than 2 weeks, and it was very overwhelming. I was like, oh my gosh, as if this is happening. So as much as you feel like prepared because you're auditioning, when it's that quick, it felt so like, oh my God, I hope I can do this. But I was so excited.
Was the training process quite tedious, or did you like find picking it up quite easy?
As in rehearsals for the show?
Yeah.
Oh no, not tedious at all. I had a lot to learn. I was also covering narrator as well, so it was like a huge responsibility. And yeah, so I just really wanted to go in with my head screwed on, really concentrate, try and learn as much as I can from people who are already doing the show, and just embrace every moment. I just felt so lucky to be in that room with everyone that there was no space for any kind of boredom at all. And it was quite a quick turnaround of rehearsals as well. I feel like it was only less than 3 weeks rehearsal, so there was a lot to cram in time. Yeah.
Yeah. How did you feel walking into rehearsal knowing that this was no longer just training, it was your job?
A mixture of excitement and nerves. It felt like such a big thing, and I couldn't believe that someone was trusting me with that responsibility, especially with covering narrator as well. Because at that point, I still didn't necessarily feel as confident as a singer. I was always like, I'm a dancer who can sing a bit. But I just really wanted to take in as much as I can. And I was very much in that mindset of, because I've done my training and now this is my first job, my training still continues through this job. I learned so much, especially for the first few jobs of my career. I feel like you do everything at college, but you don't really learn the job properly until you start doing the job, if that makes sense.
I think it's nice though, because especially on starting with something so big, you're able to pick up from people who have been in the career for quite some time and who have learned things off of other people.
Exactly. And that's why I always say to anyone who wants advice or things like that, it's just like, please just be open. Please don't be scared to ask people who've been doing it for ages all the questions.
Definitely.
What was the biggest learning curve when you first started working professionally?
So I think it was just trusting myself and, my instincts, and knowing that it was okay. Also just trying to work out what was the best method for me to remember what I was doing, because obviously I was doing an ensemble track and I was also covering. So loads of people have different methods when they're doing like swings and cover things. So I guess that was probably the biggest learning curve, because again, I didn't necessarily feel like we had that extra training in college for how to be a swing or a cover. But I'm very old school. I like to put pen to paper, so I just wrote things down all the time in a language that I could understand. So yeah, I think that was probably the biggest learning curve, because I didn't really know exactly how to do that.
Yeah. So, okay, let's talk about The Lion King. It's such an amazing show. What was it like being part of that production?
Oh my gosh, I couldn't believe it was happening to me, because as I said earlier, it was probably the show that made me go, I want to do this. So it just felt such a huge honor to be actually in that place. I dreamed that I would do it. And then eventually when I did, it was so crazy. I remember doing Circle of Life for the first time in a performance, and I actually think I was crying for most of the opening.
Aww.
I don't think I sang a single word, because I just couldn't believe that I was doing basically my dream. It's such a beautiful show, very, very hard, very physical. But yeah, I just really appreciated the whole creative process of this beautiful show.
Yeah, it's such an amazing show. So the movement and physicality in the show is also really huge. So how intense was the rehearsal process?
Oh, it's really intense, and it's quite a long rehearsal process. And I think it was about 6 weeks. And initially, I was thinking, "Gosh, how come 6 weeks?" Because as I said before, I've had experiences when you're lucky if you get 3 or 4 weeks. But you have a good chunk of time the first few weeks just learning everything plainly on its own, no puppets, no costume, etc. And then when you feel like you've just about got it all, especially with the choreography, that's quite intense, someone comes over and says, okay, now put this puppet on and put this costume on, and it's completely different kettle of fish. And it's like, oh, that's why I need another couple of weeks to get used to this heavy puppet and, you know, try and mold it to my body and find ways to make it work.
It must have been so surreal though, especially because you're really in the production. Like it genuinely, I could never comprehend how amazing and exciting that must have been.
Oh yeah, it was, but also it felt quite scary at times because you just want to
Yeah.
Definitely.
make sure that you get it right, and it's so many technical elements as well. So you just want to make sure that you don't do anything wrong or cause that would cause maybe injury or show stops and things like that. There's so many things that you have to be aware of, because as much as you see all the amazing choreography on stage, as a choreography also off stage of where you need to go to do your changes is a big operation going on.
Hmm. Do you have a favorite moment in the show, either on stage or backstage?
Are we talking about Lion King in particular or just any show?
Lion King.
Lion King, favorite moment. Okay. Um, I mean, circle of life. I'm going to keep saying circle of life. But
I don't
also,
blame you though.
yeah, I know but it's one of those things that goes, it's like the first thing, and then it's like, what about the rest of the show? But one of my favorite moments for me personally with the show as well is that I got to play Nala as well.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you are aware, but I did the show also in Germany. So I've done it in German and English, which
Oh,
is a
wow.
huge achievement, which I never thought would be something in my path at all. Um, so yeah, huge achievements through that show.
Was it like hard learning German?
Yeah, so basically you have phonetics. So you have someone that comes in and teaches you everything phonetically, obviously, especially with the songs and stuff. And then when I started covering Nala, obviously I have to speak in German as well.
Oh
And
wow.
yeah, exactly. The company were really great. When we first went over, they gave us an opportunity to do some German lessons to help aid that. And it's just something that I kept up, which was so surprising, because when I had to do French in school, I couldn't tell you any of it now. But I just really absorbed the German language and really wanted to fully understand and get it right, it felt like something that I really respected and wanted to
Yeah.
do well. And I was told I was quite good at it, actually. And I still keep up my German now on Duolingo.
Did it take you did it take you a long time to pick up, or
Oh
did you
gosh, I
like
can't really remember. It was a little while ago. It did take some time. But I never forget, just little moments when I guess when you're in the country, you're hearing it all the time. So that makes it so much easier to pick up a
yeah.
language, what I'm doing now with Duolingo. And just trying to watch programs in the language and things like that. And your ears pricking up going, oh, I think I've understood what they've said on the train and things like that.
That's the exciting moment though, because you're like, oh, like I genuinely am starting to understand it.
Exactly. And also just not having the fear to try. I think that's one of the biggest things when it comes to some languages. But of course, when you're learning songs in another language, it's a lot easier. I
Mm.
think it's more sound
Yes.
rather than when you're speaking.
Mm.
But yeah.
Now on to the Rocky Horror Show, which is a completely different experience. What was that like?
Oh, I love that show so much. I would do it again and again and again and again. It's definitely one of my favorites. So I did the Rocky Horror Show. It was a European tour. I did the original year of it, which I believe was well, it was about 16, coming up to 17 years ago, of this version of the show, where I was dance captain and swing with for covers. Yes. So it was a lot of responsibility, but it was great. And it was so wonderful to be able to explore all these different characters. And it was my first dance captain opportunity as well. So I learned so much from that show. And I kind of went on for Magenta in an emergency situation where we had a lot of people ill as
gosh.
things happen. And on touring productions, we don't always have as many covers as you would in a show that's sitting down in one place. It's just how tour life is. And I think there was a whole panic, and I just went, I will do it. I was like, I'm the dance captain. I know the whole show. I will do it. And I couldn't believe I was putting myself there, because it wasn't my responsibility at the time. And it was one of the most magical experiences of my life. And then I said to myself, if I ever do this show again, I want to do Magenta. And I did that last year.
It's amazing. Did you feel really panicked and stressed? Because obviously it was emergency, so it must have been last minute.
Yes and no. It's so strange. I've had this so many times in my life, in my career. I feel sometimes when it's very last minute, you don't have time to think about the panic. You just have to do it. And somehow your body will just do what it needs to do. I think sometimes I've been more in a panic when I know something's coming up, which I know that might sound strange, but sometimes when it's planned, it's the pressure, and you're okay, I've got to wake up today, gonna hydrate, gonna practice this, and blah, blah, blah. But when it's happening in a split second, you're just okay, well, if I don't do this, the show's cancelled. So we're just going to do this and have as much fun as possible. Without me, the show's not happening. And I also want to do it justice for myself and for my colleagues. And I think that's what's so amazing about being a swing and a cover. And I will always advocate for those that do that kind of job, because it's, superhumans. It's superheroes, all of them, honestly.
Was there a moment in the choreography where you really had to concentrate?
In Rocky Horror? Oh, yes. Time warp. It's so deceiving because the choreography is not so complex. I've done a lot more complex kind of shows and more physical shows, but because it's very repetitive, it's almost that thing of reminding yourself, which time warp am I on? If that makes sense. Because you'll have the same choreography, but maybe you'll be facing a different way, or time warp number 3, you're near someone else, or if that makes sense.
Position changes.
Exactly. So sometimes the simple choreography, but different variations of it, is more complex to keep in your head than anything else.
Is there any audience moments that still make you laugh now?
Just in general?
Yes.
Oh, yeah. I mean, Rocky Horror is always a really good show for audience participation. And I've been very lucky. I've gone to a lot of different cities on the tour where people really do go for it. We've had moments where people squirt water guns, obviously, there's a light over at the Frankenstein Place. So we've had water in the eye. We've had stage. We've had people throw in, obviously, confetti and toilet roll and all these things. And it's so difficult. Yeah. Have you ever seen the show?
No, I haven't seen it.
Oh, you should. It's so much fun. So audience.
I really would like to watch it.
Yeah. But it's really difficult because you have to almost put up a wall as if you don't see all of this happening. As much as the audience are going crazy, there's only particular characters that are allowed to kind of break the fourth wall and talk to the audience and maybe tell them to calm down if they need to. But yeah, it's just so funny, and they shout out things, and yeah, it's great. But another moment, if I don't do Rocky Horror, probably one of the funniest moments was one time doing Moulin Rouge. So you know that they have the can seats.
Oh, yes.
I'll explain a little bit for those who don't know. So we have the main stage, and then you have a passerelle, so a kind of aisle that comes out as an extra piece from the stage. and it goes kind of out and also round like a little, almost like a catwalk around. And then you have the can seats kind of in the middle between the stage and the catwalk, if that makes sense. Anyway, they always advise people who sit there that they cannot leave at any point during the show, because it's that catwalk is sometimes opening and closing like a safety measure, because we walk across it and around them, etc. And I remember there was one audience member who clearly just really needed the bathroom so badly that they climbed over the catwalk as we were doing the show, went to the bathroom, and of course then they had a nightmare trying to get back in. And it was just so funny. Just trying to ignore this person literally climbing over it to get to their seat. It was quite funny.
Jeez, he must have been desperate.
Yes. Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't choose to sit there myself personally, but for reasons like that, oh my gosh. But yeah, it was very funny.
It must have been a bit like Starlight Express, because I remember when I was sitting like on the balcony to watch Starlight Express, and we couldn't like go over because obviously you got like where they skate. This is in the Troubadour in London.
Oh.
They got their like skate pass, so you have to like you obviously like you walk on the tracks when you exit and stuff. So if they're like skating around, you can't go to the toilet halfway through the show or something.
Yeah, exactly, because it's a safety element, because people are going here, there, and everywhere. I haven't seen Starlight at the Troubadour yet.
It's really good. I definitely recommend.
Yeah, I saw Starlight in Germany, in Bochum. That's also amazing, because that theatre was made specifically for that show. It's also insane.
Okay, Moulin Rouge is such a spectacular show. What was it like performing in it?
Oh, it was crazy. So I was in from the very beginning of Moulin Rouge. It was my first original West End production, so that was a huge tick. And obviously going through COVID times, it was a huge thing. You know, loads of us hadn't performed for well over a year, and we were trying to put together this huge show. So the pressure felt kind of on, you know, and having to COVID test all the time, hoping that we can make the show happen. It was crazy times, but it was probably one of the most exciting experiences of my life. I made friends for life from that show. And I don't think there'll be anything like it. It's just so exuberant, exciting, uplifting, colourful, physical, very physical. I think my hamstrings still hurt from doing that show, with all those can kicks. But yeah, I also just felt so strong. It felt so amazing to do something so geared at dance and movement, because you don't always have that in the show as an ensemble member, and to feel really celebrated for your dance. I think it was so wonderful.
The show looks very exhausting. So how did you find it?
Yes, it's exhausting. That's correct. I cannot lie. Anyone who says it's easy, they are lying to you. It is exhausting, but I tell you what, just the music, there is something about the energy of that show. As much as you go, oh, yeah, I'm a bit tired today, I might have to do 70%, you know, try and pace it, especially depending where you are in a week. It's near impossible, especially right at the top for the opening, and you just hear that gong before the can. Your heart literally is like, oh my gosh, this is happening. How am I going to do it? And then before you know it, you doing full on can and having the time of your life. But it is exhausting.
The amount of stamina you must have to work up must be genuinely insane.
Oh my gosh, 100% full on cardio. And I must say, I think what trained us up really well, as much as it was crazy because of COVID times and having to do a lot of things in masks, I think that made us stronger, because sometimes we would practice the opening over and over again while wearing a mask. So when we were able to do it on stage with the mask off, it felt 100 times better, obviously, because you could breathe more.
Relieving.
But yeah, I actually think that was part of the good training, almost having that constriction of the mask. But yeah, it was literally just like repetition, just to build your body up, because it is very, very difficult.
That's a good thing though, because it helps your body get used to it, and it helps you perfect it.
Oh, 100%. I mean, I ended up doing the show for 3 years, so
Wow,
it can't have been that bad.
that's a long time.
It was a long, long time. But yes, yeah, you just had to really look after yourself, eat well, hydrate, get good rest where you could, you know. But I must say, also just having a wonderful team around me just really helped keep the energy up, if that makes sense. Especially in that
Yeah.
first year, I felt like with my Can girls, we were very good at just kind of lifting each other up whenever anyone felt a little bit tired. We just all rallied together and make it happen. It really felt like such a solid team.
Yeah. What's your favourite moment in the show to perform?
Oh, in Moulin Rouge, favourite moment. Oh, that's so difficult because I ended up playing so many versions of Moulin Rouge with all the covers that I had. Favorite moment. I mean, it's probably playing Satine. I never in my life thought that I would play such a big role, and I actually ended up doing it quite a lot, quite a lot more than I thought I would. So that was huge, and just coming down on that trapeze for the beginning of her number for Diamonds. Oh my God, it's crazy. It's you just come down and it's all black and you can't hardly see anything, and your heart is just racing, and you obviously come down on all the confetti. Have you seen the show? I'm sure you have.
I've seen clips, but we're not able to see it in person because there's an age rating.
Oh, that's a shame. Well, soon, hopefully soon.
Yeah,
hopefully.
yeah.
But
But yeah,
yeah,
I've seen photos of that set, and it's just looks amazing.
yeah. But yeah, to come down and have an entrance like that as a part, to literally just come down from the ceiling on a trapeze, I mean, it's pretty amazing.
So you've experienced both West End life and touring. What are the biggest differences for you?
Well, the big difference is tour life is really difficult because you are packing up your life essentially for 6 months to a year, depending on how long your tour is, you know, and you have to live out of a suitcase. I've done some tours when it's been weekly touring, so literally changing venue, doing a week of shows, finish on a Saturday night, then you've got to travel on Sunday, which is also your only day off, and then Monday you're setting up again in a new venue. So it's constant moving. You don't get as much time for rest in between with your shows. So I think that's a huge element, and not being in your own environment. Sometimes you're not in accommodation where you can cook, you know, like if you're doing a lot of hotels and things like that. So that can affect a lot. So I think that's the biggest difference. Because obviously, if you're doing a West End show, you're based in one place. You can, you know, have your kind of safety net of your environment and cook for yourself, and you can still see your friends and family and do other things around the show. So there's a bit more space there and a bit more time for rest and recuperation than it is on tour. But don't get me wrong, tour life is also wonderful because you get to go to so many amazing places. Even in the UK, there's loads of places I've been to that I probably never would have visited if it wasn't for touring. And you get to go in these amazing theatres. There's so many regional theatres that are just beautiful, and meet so many new people. And every time you go to a different venue, it almost feels like a new show. So it keeps it fresh in that way.
And what do you miss most when you're away from the West End?
Oh, miss most. As in, like, if I'm not working in a theatre show in general, or
just like things like maybe that like you do at a West End that you like can't do on tour, if you know what I mean.
Right, yes.
Like,
hey. Yeah, I guess, you know, I think one of the main things is what's really nice is when you're in the West End is knowing that you have your other friends also in the West End right around the corner, and just having that spontaneous catch up in between shows with somebody in another show, or just like bumping into people and just being in the buzz of that hub of shows everywhere. It's just a very exciting environment.
Yes. Okay. Are you ready? We're going to do a quick fire round. So just say the first thing that comes to mind.
Here we
are you ready?
No pressure. No pressure.
Yeah, ready.
Okay. You do the countdown.
3, 2, 1. Favourite show you've been in?
Rocky Horror.
Dream role.
Persephone in Hadestown.
Favourite theatre you performed in?
Ooh, Lyceum.
Pre-show snack.
Haribo's.
Ooh.
Finally, is there anything exciting coming up for you?
Potentially.
Ooh.
Ooh. Melissa, thank you so much for joining us. This has been absolutely amazing.
Yes.
Oh, thank you so much for having me. It's been lovely to talk to both of you.
And thank you to everyone listening to Skipping Through Theatre.
Make sure you follow us on social media and your favourite streaming platforms. We'll see you next time.
Bye.
Bye.